Hey guys, it's Chris here. Welcome back to my channel. I've been asked by quite a lot of people to do some like mad videos of craziness and just random me just talking rubbish and stuff. And so far I haven't really got round to doing it. I've had a little practice go here or there of just filming me talking rubbish, and to be honest I'm not very good at it, so that's why you haven't seen it. But I did get called out the other day. One guy, Barry I think his name was, yeah, Barry Barrison, hello to Barry. He called me out for all I do is ride around looking for things to happen to film it and put it online. It's like, hey, I'd be spending a lot of time riding around for that to happen. I think there's been like 9 incidents in 8 months, so you'd have to put a lot of hours in to do that, and it's not very productive. What I actually do is use my bike as the vehicle I commute on, and when mad stuff happens I just put it online because people like to watch stuff like that. That's as simple as it is. I'm not really the only person that does that, but it did have a bit of a point, you know, that up until now that's all you've seen of me really, is me putting like near misses and people walking out in front of me and all that sort of stuff. You know, it's like, yeah, okay, that is pretty negative. I'm not really that type of person. So Barry, this one's for you, mate. I've decided to start my little vlogging series with like some funny anecdotes of my past life of inebriation when I used to be a drinker. Unfortunately, not being should get your phone, you matey, not being a consumer of alcohol in this day and age, I don't have as many mad incidents happening, but you know, I've still got some good older tales to tell. So I'm going to start this with my fave story, and it's a double story. This one, it initially happened when I was 18, but then something better happened later on. All will be revealed now. So I'm going to start the story in 2013. I was living in Germany at the time in a commune, and it was around this time of year, it was around Christmas, and we had like a Christmas meal planned with all of the locals from the village, the local village coming along, and it was really nice. There was people from all over the world. It was an international art institute, so we had people from every part of the world living there. It was great. You know, we had guys from Spain, Italy, Greece, America, Mexico, who else did we have at the time? Romanian guys, Polish, Germans. You know, it was a real melting pot. And on top of that, we then invited people from the local village to come and join us and have some food, and we just cooked all day long and had a big celebration. It was beautiful, wonderful, beautiful time. Anyway, all that sickliness out the way. Watch out, Jesus Christ, mate. Yeah, so I'm sitting on the table with some of the guys who we lived with, and we're telling stories of like the maddest situation you've ever been in. One of the guys was telling a story about how he was trying to get with this female DJ in a club, and you know, he was putting all the moves on, but unfortunately he'd taken a load of drugs and then had an overdose and was sick all over himself, and then had to get taken to hospital. So you know, that didn't really pan out too well for him. You can't come back, hey, do you remember me? I was the guy who was just OD'd and was sick all over myself. Not naming names here, of course, because the people involved will know exactly who I'm talking about. But I then told a story of when I was 18, and I was at an 18th, not too far from here actually, and I think it was around the time that Pastor Courvoisier was out in the clubs. I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure that was because I was drinking Courvoisier, and there's no reason for me to pick Courvoisier as a drink apart from the fact it was like Pastor Courvoisier, that sort of thing. You know, I was 18, that's what you do. So I was drinking quadruple Courvoisier and Coke, which again, stupid, but I was 18, so that's what you do. And I'd gone up for one more quadruple Courvoisier and Coke, and the woman says to me, "You're not having any more?" I was like, alright, okay, why? And she said, "You've had enough." She went, that was a fresh bottle that we put up earlier. Said, "You've done enough of it, you're not having any more." And I mean, you know, I'm fairly placid guy. I was just like, alright, okay, no problem. That was the end of it. Well, I was obviously really drunk, and it was the right decision, might I add. I was irresponsible, and she did the right thing and not allow me any more of them. So yeah, fast forward about 10 minutes and I'm in the toilets and I'm like feeling really rough. I'm like, man, I'm struggling here. I'm like leaning against the wall of the cubicle having a wee, and like I could remember the whole room spinning. I've got my eyes closed and the room was still spinning. You know, I'm like this leaning against the cubicle. Obviously I can't do it because I'm riding, so if you can imagine, I've just got like my arm leaning against the wall to support me, and next thing I'm thinking, I'm going to be sick here. So I kind of just go and I was like sick everywhere, just projectiled into the toilet, and then I open my eyes and realise I'm not leaning against the wall at all. What I'm actually doing is I'm like this, but I'm being sick into my pants. And literally just filled with vom. I'm like, oh man. So I'm like scooping it all out of my pants and putting it down the toilet, trying to do the best job I can. And yeah, so I've scooped it all down and put toilet paper down there. And I can hear people banging on the cubicle like, you alright in there? And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. And yeah, so I eventually sort myself out, come out the cubicle, I'm pinging from wall to wall inside the toilet. I was that destroyed. Said to my mate, I've got to go home here. So ends up leaving and going home. I only lived like less than a quarter of a mile away from the place, so it wasn't that far to go. And my mate came with me because obviously he was a bit concerned I was all over the place. So he's talking to me on my mum and dad's couch, like, you know, when we got back to there. And I just remember like blinking, and obviously it wasn't, but in my head I just blinked and then opened my eyes, it was daylight, and my mate was ringing the doorbell for us to go to work. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm struggling here. And I was meant to be driving us to work, and I'm way too drunk to drive here, so I had to get my dad out of bed to come and take me to work. Cheers, Dad. Always a legend for doing that. And in work I was like so rough. I went to the toilet and I did my business and it was green, and I'm like, oh man, that is savage. So I ended up getting sent home. Fortunately, it wasn't that busy a day in there, so I was okay. And that was it. It was all right. That was the end of that. So fast forward back to Germany, and I'm telling this story obviously the way I've just explained it to you. I'm telling this to the guys I'm sitting at the table with, and they're all, you know, thought it was quite funny, obviously, me being sick and me keks and that. And you know, I'm telling them like, yeah, I thought I was like this, like leaning against the wall, and the reality was I wasn't like this leaning against the wall. I was actually being sick in my pants. And I look up and I just catch one of the guys glaring at me with this look of shock on his face, and he's put his hands up to his mouth, and he's looking at me like, really, like, what's going on? Like, you know, this is one of the guys I know. It wasn't just one of the like village people. It wasn't one of the people from the village. It was one of the guys who lived there with us, and I couldn't understand what he was doing. Obviously he couldn't hear what I was saying, but he could see what I was doing. So he comes over and he's like, Chris, what are you doing? And I'm like, to me, I'm telling the story, and he's going, yeah, but your arm, what are you doing? And then Robert, name to name, sorry, one of the guys, Robert, just falls about laughing because he realises exactly what's going on. He's looked at me leaning against the wall without any context and assumed that I was doing the German salute, which you could understand, it does look like that from afar. So he thought, in a room of about 50 to 60 Germans, I'm sitting there as the only Englishman there doing the Nazi salute, which I wasn't, obviously. So we explained it to him, and then he realised, and he obviously had a laugh about it as well. And he was like, "Oh, the relief!" He said, I just had this vision, like, you've just picked this moment to let everyone know your true colours. You've come out like, yeah, I am an Nazi. Been living undercover in this like lefty commune for a year, and then I picked this moment to be doing the salute. So it all got cleared up, but it just made what was a quite mildly funny story for him years before even funnier again. And that's about it really. I hope you all enjoyed that little story. If you didn't, but you know, you didn't have to watch. You can go away. There's no refunds, so you're not getting any money back. If you did like it, if you want more of this, let me know. Let's have a little convo in the underneath section, and do all that YouTube stuff, the likes and subscribe. Come and say hello. I'm going to leave it there for now, guys. I'm going to do some more soon. I've got plenty of stories like that. So, ta-ra for now. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye. Alrighty, righty. Here comes the rainy.